Hey everyone, I'm Ashley Billington and this is the Campfire. Today we are diving into District 5, 5A Division 1. And surprise, surprise, it's another 9-team district after realignment. This district consists of Newman Smith, R.L. Turner, Bryan Adams, Molina, Sunset, W.T. White, Mansfield Timberview, Birdville, and Richland. There are quite a few teams in this district who have not faced each other in a really long time. So this should be fun. Let's start things off by analyzing these teams in our film session. Mansfield Timberview moves up from Division 2 to Division 1, and by doing so, they avoid Aledo, who has given them 2 of their 3 district losses over the past 2 years. Jarvis Reed returns in the backfield as he rushed for 1,400 yards and 21 touchdowns a year ago. Also, look for good line play on both sides of the ball. Richland graduates a lot of its skilled position players, especially super athlete CJ Nelson, who is at the University of Houston now. They will need to find some players to fill in this coming fall. Birdville finished 3-7 last year and only picked up 1 win in district play. With dual threat Aiden Dollar graduated, the Hawks hope a new district makeup will do them some good. As for the Dallas ISD teams, W.T. White is the team most looking forward to making a run at a playoff spot. The Longhorns beat 4 of the 5 teams in this new district handedly last year and bring back strong talent on the offense and defensive lines. Bryan Adams made the playoffs last year as well, but were hit hard by graduation. Sunset and Molina will compete, but it will be difficult for them to see the postseason. And over in Carrollton ISD, Newman Smith finished 4-4 in district play and just a game out of the playoffs. The Trojans fill a couple of plays here and there could get them in the show, while R.L. Turner finished with only 1 win in district play, and the team they beat is no longer in their district, so it could be a tough season for the Lions. Timberview will be the favorites going into the season, but don't count out any of these other teams. All right, let's dig even deeper into 5-5A Division 1 as we bring in our Inside High School Sports insider, Matt Diggs, along with producer Ward Fasold for our district breakdown.
All right, district breakdown time. Look at that. That's the award-winning Matt Diggs, our Inside High School Sports insider and pulling home trophies by the boatload. And we're going to talk 5-5A Division 1 before he gets on a rampage about the awards he's won. We're going to talk about this yet another 9-team district, but this one doesn't seem like it may be as competitive as some of the other ones we've talked about.
You know, I like to unify all of the awards. I'm like the Roman Reigns of high school football. But at the end of the day, I'm more interested in districts like this than some of the other districts we've already talked about because there's such parity, in my eyes, from 2 to 6. And to me, that makes it interesting because even when we're talking about 2 to 6, it gives 7 to 9 a chance to be competitive. And I love watching teams like a Molina or a Turner or a Sunset that's just historically written off have a chance to be competitive against teams around their skills. So if Molina or Turner or Sunset as a young freshman, sophomore class are going to get a chance to get better, and maybe by next year we'll be talking about them in the playoff race, which I think is incredibly fascinating because you have a chance for mobility. Now, I realize that's not the best case scenario for Timberview because Timberview only gets 2 non-district games, and I think they're going to be favored by 4 touchdowns in every game they're going to play, and that's in the middle of the district. The bottom of the district, they'll get to name their score, but at the same time, as we've seen with Lancaster and some other teams, that could be problematic when you roll through non-district or through district in a way, only have 1 or 2 non-district games very early on, and all of a sudden you're looking at Frisco ISD, then you're looking at some really good East Texas or Houston area teams in the second round, and all of a sudden you're not prepared. You got Timberview 1, I've got Richland 2, Birdville 3. I'm going to stick slot Newman Smith number 4.
All right, Diggsy, I appreciate you joining us, man. We'll talk to you later.
See you down the road.
Diggsy, Wiz, we will have even more on this district on our social media platforms this Wednesday. Now, let's take a look at some of the athletes you should keep an eye on in this district and our players on the rise. In the defensive backfield for Mansfield Timberview, Jordan Sanford is quite the playmaker. He had 2 picks last year for the Wolves, and they were both house calls. And when the Wolves decide to put Sanford on the edge to blitz, well, that spells trouble for the quarterback as well. Sanford has interest in Texas Tech, TCU, and Colorado, amongst others. One of the top defensive linemen in the district is who? Gabe Jones. The 6'5", 250-pound WT White defensive end is still gaining mass, but what he has already is enough to terrorize quarterbacks. Jones steps through or around blocks with consistency and then punishes the ball carrier. He was a first-team All-District player last year and is gaining interest from many colleges. Joseph Guevara is just a junior, but already an integral part of the Sunset scheme. He was first-team All-District as a tight end as he caught 23 balls for 234 yards and 2 touchdowns. But that's not all he does. The Bisons also use him as wide receiver, defensive end, and linebacker. If Sunset hopes to compete in district play, Guevara will be a main reason why. You can call Timberview's Andre Kojo what you want, but at 6'6", 330 pounds, I prefer to call him a beast. He'll be only 16 years old during his upcoming senior year, but he is still one of the baddest right guards in the area. Kojo has good footwork, but his sheer mass is what opens holes in the running game. Kojo has tons of interest, including Texas Tech, Texas, and A&M. I tell you what, that Andre Kojo does not look like someone I'd like to mess with on a football field. Our Word Fasold caught up with his coach, James Brown of Timberview, to talk about Kojo, the district, and much more in our Media Day segment.
All right, it's Media Day for 5-5A Division I. I'm joined with Mansfield Timberview head coach James Brown. Coach, you have jumped up a division, and you are in a, like everybody, it seems like, in a 9-team district here with a lot of Dallas ISD teams and some Carrollton teams. Richland and Burville. Talk to me about your feelings about this district and how you guys might survey it.
Well, yeah, and I think that it's always a challenge every 2 years to kind of figure out where you're going to end up and what's going to happen during realignment. So, for us, it was we always kind of seem to be the swing team, whether we're headed to Region 1 or Region 2 and, who's going to get caught in that mix with us. So, being attached to Aledo, that district for a couple of years, I think was really beneficial for us. To have to learn how to compete on a weekly basis, I think that was really good with Everman and the Burlesons and those guys, and I really feel like it prepared us for round 2 with Ennis, number 1 in the state, a couple of years and undefeated the last 2 years, and so I really felt like the district prepared us for that. I'm really not really familiar with a lot of the schools that we've just jumped in with. We've never had the opportunity to get with Richland and Birdville. We've been with the ISD when we were with Highland Park and Legacy and Lancaster. So, we're familiar with some of those guys. And really, I think the only 2 that we're familiar with is Brian Adams and Sunset.
Well, you guys always have big-time talent there, that's for sure. And be interesting to see how you not only survey 5-5A Division I, but now you're in Region 2, which would be another interesting deal. You'll be heading up to Frisco when the playoffs start. So, right. or Frisco team, I should say, unless it's short. But
Yeah, don't say Lone Star or Frisco High just that early. I mean, that's.
But it should be interesting, and I certainly enjoy talking with you, and I appreciate you spending some time with us.
Ford, I appreciate it. Thanks a bunch.
We will post the entire interview on all of our social media on Friday. That's going to do it for this week's show. Next week, we head into District 6-5A Division I, which is a Frisco ISD district plus Sherman. You can keep up with everything on the high school football scene on our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube accounts. Until next time, I am Ashley Willington, and thank you so much for watching The Campfire.